He's a guy that Chester and I saw a couple years ago. He had a little different body type then than he has right now. And then we followed throughout the spring and summer. We made him a priority. 6'8", extremely long, plays at one of the great high school programs in the Baltimore area. Coach Clatchley is outstanding, has produced many players and state champion. The one thing about all three of these guys is they're winners, and Amani has done that. Versatile, extremely, every time we turned around he had a double-double. He can play multiple positions, he can do multiple things. He's a very good low post player. He's an elite passer, he can handle it. He's kind of that consummate 6'8" guy who's got tremendous versatility and extremely high IQ. So very excited to have him, and every time we watched him this summer we looked up and he had a double-double. So it's impacting winning in a lot of ways. Excuse me. Draven is a young man that I sat with TA this spring at an event, and we watched him, and I didn't know who he was. I said, "Who is this guy?" He said, "Oh, coach, he's won another school, and they happen to be in our league. He's committed." And you just get that nauseous pit in your stomach when you watch, somebody else's player, and you're gonna have to face him for a while. And there was a decommitment, and we jumped right on him. Again, plays for Kevin Boyle at Montverde, a national champion. Again, winner. He was a point guard that when Sky went out, those two locked horns every single day in practice, and when Sky went out, he stepped in and helped lead them to a national championship, and does it at both ends of the court, and was elite in ball screens. A guy that I'm really excited about. Tremendous athleticism, great bounce, very competitive on the defensive end, and again a winner. And Zach, we're re-signing into this class of 23. He is again a guy that has world experience, playing with the U18 French national team. He's a guy that is, again, a common theme. We know we need size. 6'10", 6'11", very skilled. The consummate skilled guy, plays kind of anywhere, multiple positions, but had a great U18. Jeff was in Turkey watching him. Our team actually got upset, and Zach, I thought, in my opinion, was well on his way towards being the MVP of those. So a very talented young man, and can shoot it, handle it, left-handed. Just a high IQ. That's the one thing that I'm impressed with this group about, is their IQ and their feel, and then the fact that they've all been extremely well coached and they've won, and that continues to be a theme. That those three guys in the back continue to go after as winners, and guys that are of very high character. So I think all three of these guys have the ability to step in and play immediately. That's why we recruited them, and I think they're guys that have the perfect fit for the University of Illinois and for the way we're playing basketball right now.
Brad, from how you've described many of your players in your current roster and this signee class, I hear the word versatile, multiple positions a lot. How much is this the trajectory of the future, the current and the future that you need?
It's the way we're taking it. We're looking for all those guys, and they're all different. They all have versatility, but they all do different things at a different with different strengths and weaknesses. That's kind of the trend we're trying to take it towards, and we want to do that with some size, but we also want it with speed and athleticism. And you know, I think you've seen that, just a small taste of that in this class. But you've got to have IQ, you've got to have feel, and then you've got to be multidimensional. And I think that's something that we're very, very excited about with this group, and we add that to something we continue to build. And again, I can't say this enough. I mean, our staff does an unbelievable job, and they're the best in the country, and these guys fit exactly what we're trying to do.
Coach, what's Zach's status? Is he going to have to spend the whole academic year at Sunrise?
He'll be in the 23 class.
So he'll arrive on campus?
Yeah, I'm not talking about their academics, so he'll be in the 23 class.
Gotcha, thank you.
I guess with the way rosters are now in college basketball, do you find yourself recruiting more to maybe a style instead of maybe because you won't know necessarily which players you'll have in the field there?
Yeah, it's a great question. A little bit. I think, you know, that we know that we've again, I'll go back to Kofi a little bit. You know, you go back to Kofi, and he was so unique, and we weren't going to ever turn that down, but those guys are very hard to find. And so going out and getting guys that are multi-dimensional, have versatility, have guys that can do a lot of different things, and yet you still have to have some size, and you still have to have guys that can crack the paint. And so it is more a little bit about the style. You've got to have shooters, you know, and so we're it's a very broad swipe, you know, in terms of the recruiting, in terms of the skill set. But yeah, we'd like to have all those bases touched, and you know, we feel pretty comfortable with the way we're trying to play and the athletes we're trying to go get.
You've had success with deep stables of guards, Tad, Dre, to Sky and Jaden and Sincere. How does he fit alongside those guys? What made him the right piece to pair with those guys?
He's really athletic. He can really guard. He can really shoot it, and he's great in ball screens. And you guys know me that I don't. I'll put 3 of the 4 on the court at the same time. And he's tough. His IQ. And I should mention, all 3 of these guys are outstanding students as well. So, you know, when you got IQ and you've got a skill set that allows you to play in ball screens, then it becomes about matchups, and then it becomes about you know, what other pieces you put around him. So I love the versatility that he has. I thought he made great decisions in ball screens, especially for a guy in high school. You can tell he's been extremely well coached. They play all the best teams in the country, and that's something that again, he's got that wealth of experience, and he's got a national championship. I mean, you're a point guard on a national championship team. You're doing a lot of things right, and you put him with what we've got, and it's very exciting.
What was the process for you guys to stay locked in on Zach, and for him to stay locked in on you guys in these last couple months since we last talked about him?
Yeah, a lot of work went into Zach, and you know, and Jeff made a couple trips abroad, and he's a guy that we got very involved with. We loved what he was about. You know, we did Zooms with him, and you know, it just didn't quite work with the timing of some things, and yet now he's over here, and we've created just a tremendous relationship. That's all Jeff. Jeff's put a tremendous amount of time into that, and he's very comfortable. And you know, we'll continue to move that needle forward, and it's exciting for he and his mother, you know, to come on an official visit here a couple weeks ago and see our campus, and they even fell in love with it more. So it's a lot of hard work. It's about relationships, and feel very comfortable with that.
The idea of a recruiting flip is more of a football thing than a basketball thing traditionally, but when did you start having meetings with your staff about Dre and going, I think we can maybe flip this kid and get him?
I didn't even know he'd flipped. I mean, we didn't flip anybody. That was just his, you know, we don't I don't know how they do it in football, but that didn't have anything to do with anything we did. I mean, that was all on his own and for whatever reason. And when he put it out there that he was opening his recruitment, then, you know, we were, you know, probably somewhere in one of the 50 schools that called. You know, we knew he was had spent some time close to here. So, you know, we thought we could have a chance, you know, and the way we play fits him. So, you know, it was, again, TA doing a great job and getting him here and built a relationship. It was a little quicker process than the other two. But obviously, you know, that's one of the things we have to stay dialed in on today is, you know, not just the portal, but, you know, if kids do decommit or leave for whatever reason.
I know you said you didn't want to talk about academics, but with Zach, I guess what logistically kind of needed to change from the summer to now in the fall to make him kind of available to be signed, if that makes sense?
It's all academic stuff that I'm not going to get into.
As a follow-up to my last one, just if you feel like you can get shooters and maybe some size and some speed and just a lot of versatile pieces, do you feel like that's just an approach you need and you can piece it together after that, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think you've got to, you know, I think it depends on what the pieces are. Yeah, but I think you want to have a little bit of everything. We want shooting. We need speed and quickness. We need, you know, and I said we had to have size on the wings a couple of years ago. We had to have guards who can penetrate and drive. We had to have guys that, you know, can still go rebound and post, and yet, you know, you get a guy that, you know, like Coleman, who can 6'10", 6'11", can do all those things, and so it's we don't want the style to change. We want to play with that speed and with that intensity on the offensive end. But so it's about guys fitting that, but it's also about trying to find the best guys to create matchup problems. And you know, it won't be long before a lot of teams in college basketball, in my opinion, are five-way switching, and you better have somebody who you can isolate, and somebody who can go post up and you know, beat somebody off a dribble, and then you got shooters to create space. So I don't know if I answered your question, but you know, we're looking for a little bit of all that.
Coach, this class, everyone we know so far signed early. Did you feel the need to get it done all in the early signing period this year, or are you still going to continue to look for kids in the spring and in the portal moving forward?
Yeah, we're pretty much on high alert on the portal. We've got a scholarship open, open for this year. So to say that we would be done recruiting is that never happens. You know, if there would be a guy at semester, you know, as per Deja last year, we would certainly entertain that if it makes us puts us in a situation to be better. So, you know, the portal is a live thing, and it's out there, and so, you know, it's literally checking every day. There's already guys in the portal, so, you know, we're checking it every day for that right guy.
Brad, you talked a lot about your staff and obviously their impact on this class, and it's coming off of a good class last year. Why does this work so well with the mix that you have with those three? And then you mentioned your ability to close it down.
Well, I think the one thing is so hard to find, like, chemistry. All three of those guys get along great. All three of those guys make it work together. And they're talking all the time, they're communicating all the time. They've got different areas, you know, but they're always checking with each other. Hey, do you know somebody here? Do you know somebody there? And you know, I need some help here, I need some help there. It's just a tremendous amount of communication. Sure, somebody runs the point on them, but a lot of times it can be a group deal. It's you know, and yet it's tremendous connections, tremendous amount of work. You guys have no idea how hard recruiting is. and the amount of time. It is nonstop. Surrounding a recruit and with all of the people that you have to communicate with and talk to is very hard, and it takes a lot of time. And you know, again, these guys set me up. You know, throw me a softball. I just a lot of times just have to step in but it's these guys are great, man. These guys do an unbelievable job, and I wouldn't be near as good a head coach, and this wouldn't be near the program it is if it wasn't for those three guys sitting back there, and all their hard work and their ability to find players in any part of the world.
Brad, this is the first year. Brad, back. It's first year with NIL world. Now you've had an opportunity to show kids. How much did that play into this class and NIL and the opportunities that are here?
Oh, I think everybody looks for different things. I think to say NIL wouldn't be an issue would probably not be true. I think it's been something that players can look at, and if you come to Illinois, then this. And but I think it's also the education piece. I think it's also the opportunity. I think all three of these guys want to play. They know that the way we play. So I think there's so many factors in that. I think that I think one of the things that these three guys do, we don't recruit a ton of guys. We get pretty narrow in terms of who we want, what we go after, and I think that helps us in the recruiting process because it becomes a lot of love for those guys, and we know who we want to go get. So, the NIL world, it's there. There's no doubt. We don't run from it. We don't. But again, it's the character over characters thing is a pretty big deal, and our guys are in our players probably sell NIL as much as anything from the standpoint, they can come here and say, if you come here, then this is what's possible.
What was sort of the process of this class coming together when you had a guy like Imani was maybe longer term recruitment, Dre was quicker, Zach was international? I mean, it's all sort of very different.
Just coincidence, really. I mean, I'd like to hope that they were all, I mean, you can't avoid sometimes long recruitments. Bonnie's a guy that Frage and I saw, and man, as soon as I saw him practice, and saw how well he was coached, and saw what he was about in that practice, I was like, ooh, we're in. And that started there, and Frage did an unbelievable job. He's never wavered on this kid, and so it takes longer. We can't help the fact that Draven was committed to another place and decommitted, and that was shorter. And Jeff's been a couple of years in the process on Zach. So they're all different for differing reasons, and now we'll probably get into the world of the portal, and that's speed dating, and that's 5 minutes or 2 days or whatever it is, but it happens very, very quick.
You mentioned not changing stylistically. How much of what you're doing with Coleman at the 5 is similar to what you envisioned for Zach? Mine can play 4 or small ball 5. How do those guys, their skill, fit what Coleman's doing too?
Think about multiple guys out there like that. Think about, goodness. That's whether it's that's what I go to bed and dream about every night. Is guys with that versatility, and it doesn't matter if they're 6'8", they're 6'11", they're 6'4". When you've got that kind of skill set, that's the stuff that really excites a head coach. So we're starting to see a little bit of that evolution with Coleman, and Dane can do some of those things and gives us a little different look in the interior. But and both these guys have post-up skills as well. So I love the versatility of them.
I just have one more about the coaching staff. Like, did you have a conversation? I know you've been with Jeff obviously for a while. Like, this is, I'm looking for X, Y, and Z, or is, like, when you first met them in terms of kind of those intangibles, or was that something they just like picked up on? Like, I guess was there a direct conversation, or how'd that come together?
No, it's been both. I mean, these guys do a, you know, they find out pretty quick what I like, and I don't mean this to sound the other way. I mean, their job is to put players out there that I can coach, and that we want to coach, and we talk about the style and what we like, and how it all comes together. And we've been talking about this since they got here. You know, since Jeff's obviously been around me longer than my kids are, you know, old. You know, and TA and Chester, I mean, that's one of the things we talked about when we came in, exactly what our plan was and what we were looking to do. And yeah, we had a big cove, but things had to be different. And man, these guys, that's how smart these guys are. That's how good these guys are. I mean, they've picked up, and we knocked it out of the park last year, and we did it again this year. And these guys jumped right on that, and we've turned guys down because they don't fit our character piece. And that's something that's their world. They have to know whether I can coach guys or not. And that's why they're really good.
Coach, just one kid from the state of Illinois in the last 2 classes, and Ty was kind of an import, right, from Michigan. So is that just the reality of the recruiting landscape now? Would you like to have more kids from the state?
I want good players. I mean, absolutely, we want to be able to keep our best players at home. But again, it's important to me that, because I know that there's no place that takes care of their own like this place. You know, I can't get into future recruiting, but you know, it's you know, it's cyclical sometimes, and it happens. And but I do think that this state has some of the best high school basketball in the country, and we're going to continue. It's got great coaching, and we're going to continue to recruit those guys as they fit our needs as well.
All right, we'll wrap that up. Thank you. 3 o'clock tomorrow.